There's two ways to look at penalties for second offense DUIs. First, the grading, like what type of misdemeanor or felony could it be, and then how much minimum time you get in jail and how much maximum time. The grading generally for a second offense DUI is either an ungraded misdemeanor, that means the punishment is no more than 6 months, or a first-degree misdemeanor, which has a maximum punishment of 5 years. It's in the tier system, so if you have a blood alcohol content less than 0.1, it's an ungraded misdemeanor. Mandatory minimum is 5 days. If you have a BAC between 0.1 and 0.16, it's still an ungraded misdemeanor. Maximum punishment is 6 months, but the mandatory minimum, if convicted, is 60 days. If you have a blood alcohol content greater than 0.16 within 2 hours of driving, it's a mandatory minimum of 90 days. It's a first-degree misdemeanor. If you own guns, you lose your gun rights. If you have drugs in your system that are considered scheduled drugs and you don't have a prescription, or if it's Schedule 1 drug, it's the highest tier, 90-day minimum, maximum of 5 years. If you have a child in the car, it's a first-degree misdemeanor, mandatory minimum of 90 days. With that, you can also be charged with reckless endangerment or endangering the welfare of a child. If you, and then there's different punishments if you're under 21 or if you're a truck driver. The law's constantly changing. Just as the time I'm shooting this video, ladies and gentlemen, they just increased the penalties for a refusal to a third-degree felony, whereas if you had a second offense and you refused a warrant, take for example the change in the law as I shoot this video, ladies and gentlemen. They just changed it so if you refuse to give a blood or breath test after the police get a warrant, it's now a third-degree felony, maximum punishment of 7 years. Whereas if you had a second offense and you refused a warrant, it would be at the lowest tier of punishment with the mandatory minimum of 5 days, maximum of 6 months. The punishments are constantly changing. In the past 5 years, I've seen them change 3 or 4 different times. The legislature never makes it easier on you, ladies and gentlemen, if you're in trouble. They always make it harder and harder and harder. They don't want to look at this as a disease that needs to be treated. They just want to lock people away. So if you're charged with a second offense DUI or any type of DUI, seek legal counsel who constantly goes through trials on these matters, fights the science, knows the science, knows the prosecutors, has dealt with the labs that is testing your blood, has dealt with the police to go do the breath tests. This is Brian Manchester and Manchester & Associates. We've done all those things. We continue to do them, and we continue to be a pioneer of DUI defense across the state of Pennsylvania. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video.